We're back.
Move fast, baby, don't be slow. Step aside, reload, time to go. I can't seem to control this rage that's inside me.
So we're beginning The Legend of Sundays, where we're going to play Zelda games for the summer. And what Zelda games we're going to play? We're going to play the ones I want to play. And Wind Waker. Links to the Past. We're starting with Links to the Past. I did genuinely consider doing the original Zelda and Zelda 2. Like, I'm on record as saying, like, Zelda 2 is not a bad game, I don't think. It's difficult, but it's an NES game, and honestly, as far as the NES library goes, it's one of the better games on the system. I feel like people forget the NES is, like, a lot of shit. And you're looking, like, out of the entire library, maybe 150 games that are actually worth your time. Maybe. 3 of those games are Mario. Yeah, like, while I'd be down to do OG Zelda, the issue with doing Zelda 2 is not even that it's difficult. Because, like, I did Castlevania 3 on this stream. I took the time, it took as long as it took, and I beat it. And I had a good time. The problem with Zelda 2 is the same problem I have with Castlevania 2 of it will require grinding, and it's just not that fun to do that. Oh. We're not doing Zelda 1 because Zelda 1 brings up kind of the expectation that you'll do Zelda 2. So we're going to do Zelda 3 instead. There was also the consideration I had of, like, let's do the Zelda games that are on Switch. Let's play the Zelda games that you can play on the Switch. The Switch One. Which is more than you think at this point. Welcome in, Star. Like, it's more than you think at this point, because, like, Zelda 1, Zelda 2, A Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Link's Awakening, Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, the Minish Cap, the GBA version of A Link to the Past, and then Breath of the Wild, Link's Awakening Remake, Echoes of Wisdom, Tears of the Kingdom. It's 14 games. Unfortunately, it jumps over, like, some ones that I really would want to play. And I don't want to do Ocarina or Majora on emulation. I want to play the ports. I want to do the recompilations. Anyway, let's do the Zelda stuff. I used to play this game, like, once. It wasn't even once. I used to play this game, like, several times a year. And now I don't. Like, not even on stream, like, I used to just play in my own time. Link to the Past several times a year. Which I think started when I got the... I got a flash cart for my GBA. And so I was like, okay, here's all these games. And what was I playing? Mostly A Link to the Past. And I got, like, my first retro handheld. And I was doing, like, the Super Nintendo version regularly on that, and just, like, doing them again and again and again, because I do really enjoy this game. And it's such a fast game in comparison with, like, a lot of the other games in the series. Because the uncle doesn't sleep. That's why he's dead now. He has crippling insomnia. He had crippling insomnia. So they got rid of the bed. They got rid of the second bed because he felt like just lying there trying to go to sleep was pointless. They sold the bed and bought a sword. What have been your obsession? I can see that. Like, the reason I played it so much, like I was doing it multiple times a year, it's not even that it was an obsession, it's that it's such a quick game. Like, we sit down now and we do this, I can have this done, and I have done this on stream before, in under 3 hours. Like, it's such a quick experience, start to finish. Which can make it really relaxing. It's the same reason why I would do Metroid Fusion so often in my own time. Because I could have it done in under 2 hours. And it was something to do. And keep yourself busy in some form or fashion. So we're playing the original, I believe, US release of this. We're not doing any of the ROM hacks. Like, we're not doing Randomizer. We're not doing A Link to the Past Redux. We're doing the game as it originally released on Super Nintendo. No. No, you didn't, Clem. Been a moderator for 18 months. Yeah, it's because I timed you out that one time. I forget why, you probably deserved it. Oh. So the last time I did this on stream was with Clem. We did the randomizer race, which we should do again at some point. Like maybe we'll get a surprise appearance of that while we're doing the Legend of Sundays. A surprise appearance from Clem to do another race. Maybe. Who knows? But one thing I do really appreciate about playing the randomizer just generally is how all of the dialogue is skipped. Which is great for replaying the game. How you doing, Clem? Pretty sure I asked Star how he's doing, he didn't tell me. Excellent. Anyway. Uh-huh. You quit Silk Song? Uh-huh. Understandable. Depending on how we do with this, like, I may end up at some point coming back and doing the GBA version of this as well. Because I do like A Link to the Past. And like, man, if I'd had the GBA version as a kid, I would have been really happy. But I didn't. I didn't have any Super Nintendo ports on Game Boy Advance. It's funny, Star, you're doing a Resident Evil 4 thing. My first thought when you say follow me and wait is Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey. Alright, so Clem's quit Silk Song, and now he's over here. Good. Good. Dick. Abe's Odyssey is probably like the most into one of those cinematic platformers I ever got. That said, at some point in the future, I wouldn't necessarily be against the idea of playing through the original Prince of Persia, which is the same kind of game. I just never really enjoyed that kind of game. Right, now remember, we're not playing the randomizer, so we don't go up into the Lost Woods. So I was talking on the Discord about the possibility of changing daylight shooting time now into daylight stabbing time. And like, oh, what's daylight stabbing time going to be? Oh, it's going to be Assassin's Creed. And I was like, you know, that'd probably be a fun idea. I only have the first Assassin's Creed on Xbox, so I'd have to put it back up. But I was thinking with that, like, what if, considering Assassin's Creed is essentially the spiritual successor to the Sands of Time trilogy, like, what if I redid the Sands of Time trilogy to build to it? And I was like, nah, that's just kind of pointless. Assassin's Creed 2 is good. Of the old Assassin's Creeds, the only one I haven't played the first one, and I didn't play Revelations. I played and beaten 2, Brotherhood, 3, 4, Rogue, Unity, Syndicate, and Odyssey. And Liberation. And, like, they get a bad rap for a reason. Like, they are very samey and very homogenized. Like, even up until Syndicate, with the exception of Unity, which was a mess. Like, not even just technically, it was a mess technically. But, like, plot-wise was kind of messy. And it really doesn't make the most of its setting. But, like, up until that, like, they're still fairly enjoyable games. It's like how when Far Cry 4 came out, and people like, Far Cry 4 is just Far Cry 3 again. And it's like, alright. But Far Cry 3 was a good game, so Far Cry 4 is a good game. And it's like, it is. It's not as good as 3. But if you haven't played 3, or you have played 3 and then you want more of 3, not a bad thing. So the real trick, after doing so much of Link to the Past randomizer, is not falling into your instincts of Link to the Past rando to, like, check all these specific things. Like chests that you know have nothing in them of value. Alright. I shouldn't have used that one bomb. But I have to come back here later anyway to get the Book of Medora. So we can get that piece of heart on the way back. So, Summer Game Fest happened during the last stream. What's everybody excited for? My favourite thing that's come out of the, excited about the possibility of being good. Well, like I say, Star, there's nothing yet that's been shown that'll make you think it isn't good, so, like, while I am generally a pessimist myself, and I'm not really in a position right now where I want to be positive, there isn't anything so far that says we shouldn't, like, have hope for it. Especially after RE4 make. I feel like Capcom did look at RE3 make and its general reception. And you know, RE4 make was a much better remake. And there's the possibility they'll carry that over into CV make. Revelation, I did watch the trailer for Revelation, which, like, I still prefer Regret. It all flows better. It's, like, remake, rebirth, regret. It's all 2 syllables. But the trailer for Regret doesn't look like it's any better than Rebirth. And I'm like, eh. Listen, you little shit. One fucking mistake. RE9, I still need to get around to doing RE9. I am nothing but hate. Like, especially right now. Enjoy Rebirth all you want. Like, there's no reason not, like, for you to not enjoy Rebirth. Boom, bitch. Like, RE9, I've not played RE9. I don't have high expectations for it, specifically because, like, I enjoyed RE8. I enjoyed Village, like, well enough. But then the plot just fell apart. And it left me feeling like I did after the ending of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I was like, I just don't want to play more of this. And I didn't. I didn't play Revelation. That's why I didn't play Revelation. Yeah, Village is fun to play, just like the way the plot was just fell apart at the end to make that big reference to, oh, Umbrella, to feed into what the trailer teased, and then ultimately didn't mean anything. I'd respect Village a lot more if Umbrella had never been brought up. Well, there's the thing of, like, if it isn't going to serve the story in any way, what's the point of it? The Umbrella section there is like, oh, this is where Spencer got the idea for viruses, and the Umbrella logo is like, was that something that needed to be elaborated on? Welcome in, Flame. No, it's just a waste of time. And even more so, like, if that hadn't been in the trailer, where it's like, oh, here's Umbrella again. It's like I said to Ella, like, my problem with Resident Evil isn't that it's moved on from Umbrella and Raccoon City, it's that it refuses to. Bada bing. We're getting a new Spyro, what? Thank you, Clem. I assume you're saying nice to me for my wonderful display against the Armos Knights. It's like, going back to Summer Games Fest, my favourite thing about what's come out of Summer Game Fest is the memes that, like, oh, everybody's moving the game's release dates because they're scared of GTA 6. Oh yeah, hit me with the release date, Flame. I was not aware of the release date. October 15th. Excellent. I hope it's good. Thank you, Flame. Yeah, so, like, the rumoured release date of Grand Theft Auto 6 is in November. And it seems like all the game companies are scrambling to move their games away from November releases as a result of that. And my favourite thing has been the announcement of Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee Remastered for a November release date. And the memes that are like, everybody's terrified of Grand Theft Auto except Godzilla, who will demolish Grand Theft Auto, which I just find fucking hilarious. Oh, the new Crazy Taxi that Sega said they were going to do like 2 years ago? Actually coming out now? Did you know there's a Crazy Taxi 3? That's wild. Bum, bum. Bum, bum. What else was there? Yeah, Revelation. Final Fantasy VII Regret does not look like it's going to be any better or really even different to Rebirth, and as a result, I don't care. The Veronica trailer doesn't... No, because I didn't hate Chadley as much as Clem, I hated everything else. More than Clem. Yeah, it just looks like more of Rebirth, and I don't want that. Okay, you're saying a lot of things that I feel like I should have heard of, Flame. Persona 6 officially getting announced? I haven't heard that. Is Summer Game Fest still going? Is that a multi-day thing, then? Give me your money. Xbox Showcase, alright. Cool. We should all be thankful that Xbox is still alive. So yeah, Persona 6 official reveal. Yeah. I remember when they officially revealed Persona 5 and it was like... It was still like 3 years before it came out. And also, like, I will not buy an Atlas game new anymore. Because I did that with Persona 5, and then Royal came out. And I did that with Shin Megami Tensei 5, and then Vengeance came out. And Atlas has been doing this for like 20 fucking years, and I will not keep doing this. So I'll wait for Persona 6 repurchase. Well, part of the trouble is, like, there's only 2 competitors. So, 2 competitors isn't a monopoly, but it's close enough. But even then, like, 2 is better than 1. Exactly. I've been hearing positive things about what the CEO has been, the new CEO of Xbox has been doing. Additions to Halo Campaign Evolved, don't really care. Because Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary is enough for me. If you play games like that, then your hands are too far apart from the controller. Unless you're playing Switch with Joy-Cons in each hand. Fable I also don't really care about. I enjoyed Fable back in the day. When I tried to go back to it, it bored the shit out of me. And I did not enjoy Fable 2. And I haven't played Fable 3, but you may have noticed that I have... You may have noticed on... what was it? Bioshock, when I was doing Bioshock. You could see... I'm sure at some point in my downloads tab, you could see that I was downloading Fable 3. I'll get to it for stream eventually. Well, it was always, like... I didn't want to do that. It was always, like, basic, like, hack-and-slash gameplay at its most basic. But Fable 1 was also, like, a game from 2003, so, you know, it was fine. Then when are you just gonna stream Dark Cloud? I'm not gonna do it. Yeah, but you could say that about a lot of games. I think it's about how engaged you are with the game that matters. So wondering again, like modern open world games. As long as you're engaged with it. On that note, like, am I going to do Breath of the Wild? I've always ummed and ahed over the idea of doing Breath of the Wild on stream. Why am I in here? I don't want to be in here. Ace Combat 0 port that comes with Ace Combat 8. That didn't end up happening with the one that came with Ace Combat 7. Like, didn't the Xbox version of Ace Combat 7 come with Ace Combat 5 or something? Mir would know. Yeah, if you know, like, what you're doing and where you're going, like, you can skip so much of these dungeons. That's right, Zeke. I would like to go back and do more of the Ace Combat series. Like, we did Ace Combat 3, the Japanese Ace Combat 3 for the year of PlayStation, and it was a lot of fun. And I was enjoying Ace Combat 7 in my own time. Nothing for PC, the bastards. That's fine, I'll just emulate Ace Combat 4, 5, and 0. We get Seek a shout out, please. Seek is currently streaming Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition on Saturdays. Check him out. He died, I believe, 3 times in the tutorial. So expect it to probably be more painful than the KOTOR playthrough. But with, like, probably more role-playing. Zero's your favourite. Oh, he does get a shout-out, doesn't he? I forgot. You know, that's fine. Listen, I'm mostly running on autopilot. No, I genuinely forgot. But yeah, Vanilla Rocker and Vanilla Link to the Past. Like, it's not a rando, it's not... Slow down. Not a rando, it's not the Redux ROM hack. Just the original game as it came out on SNES in 1991. Wasn't brain damage. I still think, like I said with KOTOR, I think the solution with that is going to be putting it down to easy. This would be fantastic as a strategy if I hadn't missed so many times. Alien Isolation. I streamed Alien Isolation several years ago. And didn't enjoy it. Mostly just because of the checkpointing. Like, if you're going to have a situation if you're gonna have a situation where a roaming enemy can kill you instantly and there's not really anything you can do about it, maybe have better checkpointing. Yeah, Clem, I've told you about the ice rod before. It's a strat I learned for Rando. Yeah, because I was like, the fire rod is generally really good for the land molars. So, like, you do a rando and you have fire rod, you use the fire rod on the land molars. But in vanilla, you won't have it, so the ice rod is also just about as effective. Yeah, I was streaming Alien Isolation, and I was enjoying elements of it. But, like, the constant checkpoint starvation and the regular deaths, and, like, the amount of times I had to redo, like, unreasonable amounts of the game because of that. I was like, we finished a session, and the session had been fairly long. Like, it was like maybe a 6.5 hour session. And I was like, let's look up how much of this game is left. And a walkthrough said we were about halfway through, and I was like, I don't want to do, like, another half of this. So we stopped. I have thought about going back to it in recent years. Like, especially games that I gave up on, that people that I follow have finished. Because Amber finished Alien Isolation. And, like, big respect to her, she's not a stealth game player. And you could see that when she was playing it, she does not do stealth. And she pushed her way through that, and, like, big respect to her for it. Or, like, Project Zero, where, like, Ali pushed her way through Project Zero, and I've been kind of like, I would like to go back and do Project Zero again and finish it. Because I was enjoying Project Zero. Just, I knew I was going to hit a dead game. And the combat was garbage. I've been thinking, like, I was talking about the possibility of doing a year of Star Wars next year in celebration of the 50th anniversary of Star Wars. But I think just for the sake of me enjoying myself a little more, I think I'm not going to do, like, extended themes like that. And just play what I want. Which means next year will be the year where we finally do Stellar Blade. I really like this track, and it only plays in the Dark World before you have the Moon Pearl. Yeah, I'm not gonna get that. Tactics games aren't for me. Alright, so if I can get this right... Well, XCOM was, like, an exception. An odd exception. There we go. Yeah, XCOM was an odd exception. I did quite enjoy XCOM 1. But generally, on the whole, I have real trouble keeping focus on tactical games. And that's how you do that. One day I'll actually sit down and play through Mario Rabbids. I've had that game for so long at this point. Alright, so we're going to be taking bets on how many times I get knocked down the pit by Muldorm. Chat, I want you to all place your numbers. The Rayman announcement is odd to me. It's like, it's not a new Rayman game, we're just completely remaking Rayman Legends. And it's like, why? Rayman Legends is fantastic as it is. Remake Origins, maybe. Put Origins out on modern platforms. Like a remaster of Origins or something, I don't know. But like, just straight out remaking Legends? Odd idea. Alright, so Flame says 3. The answer was 0. Honestly, like, if you want to get good at this game, spend some time with the rando, because you will learn. Like, just watching rando and playing rando, you will learn so many little tricks that will help you in ways that you never thought of. Like, just holding the sword out in that fight, it gives you much better maneuverability and attack angles. And it makes that fight so much easier. Unbelievable. Yeah, Rayman Legends, I really don't see the point of a remake of it. I hope it sells well. Still decide to screw you every time. There's always going to be moments like that. I've had, like, multiple runs where I do it consistently. Like, no issue, no trouble. Just consistently. And then I'll have a streak where I just can't get it. Muldorm giveth, and Muldorm taketh away. And get the mushroom now. I do really like this track, and it only plays until you get the Master Sword, which I think is a real shame. Here we go. The first time this theme was introduced. What a good piece of music. I love that they bring that back every time you pull the Master Sword out. Like, it's so fucking good. My luck with the rando has always been like, I either start with the Cane of Burner, or I never get the Cane of Burner. Or the cape. Like, it's kind of, like, really crazy. And let me tell you, like, starting with the Cane of Burner is really fucking tricky. Went through, boys! I got a rock. Well, you can't get the half magic until you have the hammer anyway. Don't need to finish Ocarina of Time. I'm probably going to do Ocarina after this. And that's probably like a 2-session game. Yeah, I'm really just trying to minimize the amount of backtracking. Yeah, so... like, get the flippers. Like, when I'm in the Dark World and I go to get Quake, I can get, like, at the same time, I can get the magic powder, I can get the flippers, I can get the magic boomerang, and I can get all of that together. No, I got the mushroom. You see, that's the thing with the mushroom, Clem. It will respawn. It will continuously respawn in that location until you hand it in for the magic powder. And you can just keep picking it up and it doesn't mean anything. No idea. No, the mushroom will stay fine until I go to use it. You might be getting confused with the mushroom in the Ocarina of Time trading quest. Nope. Nope. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so by deciding to pick up the mushroom when I'm in the Lost Woods just to get the Master Sword, like, it cuts down on the backtracking. Like, as much as I can do in one run. Oh no, it's Saga Clim. I think this is also the introduction of Ganon's theme. And it's such a good theme. Like, going through Ocarina of Time, and, like, you start climbing Ganon's tower, and this theme is getting louder and louder as you go, is so fucking good. I'll defeat you, Aga Clim. See, if you stand perfectly to the, like, on the same level as he does horizontally, the blue balls always shoot out in 6 directions, never horizontally, which is why I always stand to the side of Aga Clim. You'll also know if he's going to shoot lightning straight down because he won't turn when he's at the top. Because he can go into that position and shoot an energy ball at you. It's not common, but it can happen. That's right, bitch. Yeah, it becomes a Stalfos. It's like, that sounds kind of horrifying. There's interesting implications in Ocarina of Time's development that, like, she has a unique model, that Kokiri. She's referred to generally as Fado, though I don't think she's ever given that name officially. And Fado was the name of the originally intended Forest Sage. And she's a holdover of that, which is why she has the unique Kokiri model. Because there's... what is there? There's 5 Kokiri models? Generic boy, generic girl, Mido, Saria, and Link. That sounds right. So what we'll be playing for the Legend of Sundays. A Link Between Worlds. Looking forward to that. I believe in-game it's implied, but I'm pretty sure Nintendo confirmed it somewhere, possibly in the Hyrule Historia. Thank you. Yeah, so my thought with how that works has always been, after Majora's Mask, Link gets lost in the Lost Woods while searching for Navi. Like, say you don't subscribe to the idea that Majora's Mask is a dead world, or like Link is dead during Majora's Mask and it's all like a fever dream or whatever, or it's like the afterlife or whatever people are theorizing it is. My theory of it has always been that Link goes back to the Lost Woods after the events in Termina and never finds his way out. Which then follows into Twilight Princess, because Twilight Princess is on the child timeline. That said, like, it's not as though any of it really matters. For the most part, none of it's really considered when they're making these games. Want to do that? There we go. Oh yeah, people like... It's one of those things of like, I don't care. But if people want to read into it and like figure out all these potential connections, I'm not going to take it away from them. That said, I do feel like the intention was there during development for the hero Shay to be the hero of time, and that it wasn't something they just said afterwards. No, I want bombs. Alright, now we can do the Palace of Darkness. It's not true. One more thing. I was thinking to myself earlier, like, where do I get the third bottle? Because I couldn't remember. And I just remembered then, like, coming down, oh, I do need to go under here with the flippers. And then after remembering that I needed to do that, I remembered when, like, where the bottle is. Yeah, I don't know that there is generally intentions. Certainly early on there weren't really huge intentions. Like, I know Zelda 2 was intended to be the sequel to Zelda 1. Although there's the complication that they added at some point that it's the same Link, but it's a different Zelda. I know A Link to the Past was intended as a prequel. I know Ocarina of Time was intended as a prequel. And then, like, Link's Awakening was intended as a sequel to this. And Majora's Mask was intended as a sequel to this. Like, specific where they all fit together outside of that, I don't think was ever, like, properly intended. And they just eventually threw something together. Like, the whole Hero's Downfall timeline, I think, was always just an afterthought. I do want the bow first, after all. Thank you. So there's an interesting thing that you learn doing the randomizer, that it seems like the dungeon music is tied to what the dungeon prize is. And that may just be something that was added for the randomizer, I don't know. Why do I feel like one of these is a key? Should have done this the other way around. Am I remembering this right? Okay. This one... No, this one's second. Give me a second while I rethink all of this, because it's been a while since I've done this regularly. Do this, then we go down, and then we cycle back up. Yeah, alright. I don't know, like, as far as the timeline stuff goes, I feel like at least some of it is Nintendo just trying to piece together what they already have. and then we go the other way. All of this used to be instinct. Yeah, boy. Play the rando long enough and one day you'll eventually learn to navigate this without the light. Because you'll get so stumped. You'll be like, where do I go next? What's the next logical progression? And you'll get so stumped you will eventually just be like, fuck it. And attempt to do a dark room without a lamp. And maybe you'll succeed. I have done this dark room without a lamp. And I've done the Eastern Palace in the Light World without a lamp. I haven't done Misery Maya without a lamp. Or Hyrule Castle. So here's a fun fact for you. This room, completely pointless. You use a key to get in here, and it just serves as a way back here. But you can just magic mirror. And it means nothing. Arrows. I don't think that's true, Clem. Also, fun fact, these statues are the only appearance of Darknuts in this game. Darknuts famously some of the most dangerous enemies in the original Zelda. That is true. I will not be buying more Ubisoft games on PC. And if and when we do go through the Assassin's Creed series, we'll be doing that entirely on console. Wonderful. And now comes the Helma Rock King. Alright, so Mecha's Pro strats for the Helmarok King. Did you know it takes 17 hits to break the mask? And then you spend a few minutes pretending you're an American. And bada bing. I'm gonna start a petition to replace the American national anthem with the Boss Clear theme from A Link to the Past. Like, just imagine your American flags blowing in the wind to the tune of the Boss Clear theme. Waka waka. Alright, we have 10 minutes until the next ad. I could get to the next dungeon and do the next dungeon before this ad comes up. But I think we're going to run this ad, just so like we're not rushing any of it. And there's a couple of things I want to do around the dungeon as well. So we're going to run this ad, and then we're back with more Link to the Past.
What a thrill.
Isn't it? And we're back.
It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times. You stupid monkey.
Ba-ba-da-bow. 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 So you might be thinking to yourself, Chrono, you're doing this game quite quickly. And you've mentioned several quick strategies of doing certain things. Why aren't you doing the save and quit, which will save you more time? And the answer to that is because doing a save and quit counts in this game's counter as a death. So at the end, when it says total games played, the counter, I want it to be at 0, because it bothers me otherwise. And if I save and quit, the counter will go up. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. So there will be no saving and quitting. Bro, I teleported. Like, yeah, but you teleported in the same sense as, like, teleporting during the... trading quest in Ocarina of Time, where you teleport with a timer, and the timer goes down to, like, 2 seconds. Bye! So here's a fun thing. If you compare the way this guy looked before when we spoke to him to now the bottom part of his body has become a tree. That's what was happening in Silk Song. You weren't being quick enough. Da-da-da-doo. Da-da-da-doo. Bitch. Da-da-da-doo. Yep, you turned into a tree because that's the effect the golden power has on anybody not holding the moon pearl. They won't let you teleport the bastards. If I remember rightly, I will have to go back into the light world to get into the village here. Getting hit takes from the timer? That's stupid. Because getting hit should be enough of a punishment because it's slowing you down there anyway. Because that's the golden power, Clem. Stop following me. No one else is turning into trees. You say that, but there are literally multiple tree people. Well, it's the inconsistency of, Oh, okay. No, come back. There we go. It's the inconsistency of what the golden power actually does. Like, this is a person. This was presumably a person. It was. Just a tree made into a snetient being. Snatent being. Snatent being, okay. I'm gonna say it was a person. So here's the fun thing with the boss of this dungeon, Blind the Thief. You might be like, Chrono, shouldn't you do these dungeons in order, and this dungeon is dungeon number 4? Like, should you get equipment from other dungeons that'll make you stronger? It's like, here's the fun thing, it doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter what you're using, Blind always takes 9 hits. Maybe in the Dark World everybody's a tree person. Like, what does your heart have to be like to become a tree person? Like, Link becomes a bully. Link becomes a bunny. The bully becomes like a pig thing. The bully's victim becomes a ball. Presumably because he had big balls. They say Link becomes a bunny because his heart was pure. I don't think that's how that works. Watch out for the grasshoppers, they do more damage than you think. Beautiful. I want the hammer. That's what I want. Yeah, I think next year I'm just going to play the games I want to play. Like, no theme. And just play the games I want to play. Which means we can finally do Spyro Year of the Dragon. And Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex. Which means after that we can finally do Crash Bandicoot... Crash Twinsanity. Which I've never actually played. And in my own time, I can play Crash 2. The joke is that theme's actually from Crash 3. Alright, let's go kill this woman. Ah, natural light. There we go, that'll make it easier. Hmm. I think on the rando, blind is actually one of the toughest bosses to deal with. There we go. I always hate having to fight blind early in a rando run. While we're here, we may as well do the, Skullwoods. And by here, I mean just in this general area. Those wide frog eyes. And do all the other stuff around the village too. You. It is really worth doing this before fighting Mothula. Mothula really does go down very quickly to the fire rod. Bonk. Bonk. Piece of heart. It's orange. The Mighty Duck. So I can't remember with the sword beam whether it does half the damage of your sword or one level below the damage of your sword. I do know generally, for the sake of speed, when you're fighting enemies, you don't want the beams to be happening, because enemies will get iframes. That means they'll get hit by the beam, but not by your sword. Standard sword damage always? Bro! Here we go. Skull Lodge. I'll give you a tongue lashing. I do enjoy chill streams. Oh, you know, as chill as a stream can be when Gibdos are around. I think the things I hate most about Wall Masters in this game is that they respawn. Like, they don't stay dead. He's good. Perfect. See, if you have the hook shot before you do this, you can just hook shot and like across the hole and come straight out. One of the things with the random is like Skull Woods. I think Skull Woods is the dungeon you can skip the most of if you know what you're doing, because most of it's unnecessary. But on the rando, like, you have to learn how to go through Skull Woods and like where the chests are. Fire! I will need to go back up to Death Mountain at some point. Didn't realize the fire rod could spread like that. Yep. Yeah, you know, I don't think I want to play Silk Song. Mothula. Now that was a good fight. Doing really well today. Alright. Whee! Alright. When I leave, I want to remember to pick up the medallion that's nearby. Alright. Bombs. I wonder if you look at this playthrough and compare it against like my previous playthroughs of this game on stream, like how much more scattershot my exploration seems. The last time I streamed this properly, the original game. Would have been like back when I was still playing it very regularly. Glad that worked. Compass. So you think leaving it on blue will make it easier for you to get back because you can just go south? But it blocks you off. It's not what you want to do. Big key. This is one of those dungeons where it's faster to just walk back to the big chest than Magic Mirror. Hookshot. Boing. Boing. Remember when I first played Ocarina of Time and you get the hookshot in that game? And I was super disappointed with it because the range feels like practically non-existent. That's what the long shot's for. I don't think there's a key down here. I don't think there are any more key doors in this dungeon. Yeah. The real pitfall of doing the rando runs that you end up learning the location of like every chest in the game, but you forget what they actually have in them in vanilla. Oh no, there is one more key door. We go. Oh no, this is Argus. Vitreous is in Mizra and Maya. I got confused. Dabbing. It's kind of crazy, like, just how many musical pieces Link to the Past added to the series that would go on to become, like, regular themes. Like, this becomes Zelda's theme specifically, I believe. Being the basis for Zelda's Lullaby. Alright, go and get the medallion. Which I don't think is Bombos, I think this is Ether. No, this is Bombos, the one on Death Mountain's Ether, because you need Ether to continue. So you do have to go back up Death Mountain. But Bombos is just worth having. Bombos. I think, like, one of my favourite little tweaks that A Link to the Past, the Redux ROM hack makes, is it moves the ocarina, it moves the flute teleport location, Death Mountain, up to the top of Death Mountain. And it feels like just a better location for it. Like, it moves it to, like, around here, I think specifically here. And it's like, that's a really good change of location. I think the GBA version adds a 9th teleport point to Turtle Rock. I think. I know there's a night teleport point on Turtle Rock in some version. I think it's the GBA version. Yay! Alright, I think we're gonna run an ad before we go into Misery Mire, because we've got like a half hour before the next ad comes up. But if we run the ad now, then we can definitely finish the game before the next ad comes up. Because there's only 4 more dungeons, but also, like, I can have this done and Ice Palace done, and I'd probably be in the middle of Turtle Rock when the ad comes up. So we'll just run it now, and it'll save trouble.
Stop! Stop! He's already dead.
Yeah. And we're back.
Humans!
Let's do this. Thank you, Clem. So, the intention is that you do this dungeon after the Ice Palace, and that you have the item from the Ice Palace, which is the blue mail, which reduces damage. Without it, the Wizrobe's attack will do 3 hearts worth of damage. So coming in here early is dangerous because enemies are going to do a considerable amount of damage. However, it's less dangerous than you might think because, like, just take some fairies. Like, we have all 4 bottles at this point, 4 fairies. I'm only carrying 2 at the moment, but, like, the point stands. It negates a lot of the worry. Like, if you're not confident about doing it, it just negates a lot of the worry. Like I say, if you're not confident about not getting hit, fuck this up. Yeah, well, I said it before I looked at what you said. Alright, I'm pretty sure I know what I'm doing now. Forward. I just got a little confused, that's all. Then you just go back. No, I did hit that switch, yeah. Alright. And then we go left. And now we can get there. I don't think I need all of these keys. The important thing more than anything is just make my way to the big key, and once I have the big key, the rest of the dungeon falls into place. Yep. Let me get the cane Samaria, and then we can just go through the rest of the dungeon. Use that. I think this is the only pit in the game that you want to drop down that doesn't have an image of a floor underneath. Is that 4 now? 3. There we go. That should sort us for the rest of the game. Gain of Samaria. I think this is the map. And then we just go up. There we go. So not a lot of people really think about it, but the cane of Samaria is not a bad weapon in certain situations. That was unnecessary. There we go. Thank you. And then hit the switch again. That said, I don't think the cane of Samaria is all that useful for the boss of this dungeon, Vitreous. We should try it to see, just in case. Good old Vitreous. Nope, seems like it's absolutely useless. Vitreous. See, that was caused by the messing around with the Cane of Samaria. People playing this game for the first time after playing later games in the series can be very surprised at how not useful a lot of the items are, especially in dealing with the boss of the specific dungeons. That's Vitri dead. Listening to this theme here really makes me appreciate the N64 sound font. Like, this isn't bad, but I absolutely prefer the version of it that plays on the N64 in Ocarina of Time. It also helps that it's extended in Ocarina of Time. Alright. And straight into the next dungeon. I think, like, this kind of thing is also a big part of why this game's so fast in comparison with other games. Like, we exit Misery Mire and immediately go straight into the Ice Palace. Like, there's not really any downtime between dungeons. Just dungeon, 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 dungeon. Until you're done. A little bit here and there, I guess, where there's a couple of side things that you can do. But all in all, not much. So the penguins are really annoying to take out with the sword, but if you hit them with the hook shot, it's one shot. If you have the magic, though, and you decide you don't want to deal with that, one shot from Bombos. Didn't expect it to hit the block. Stealthos referred to in this game as Skeleton Knights. Thank you. Trying to think, like, what's the sequence that I need to do this in? And I remember now. Excuse me. Right, I should have gone up first, because then that would drop me here. Oh, that's me being stupid. Gonna save me some trouble. Not a big deal. Thank you. And this lets me just go straight back to where I want to be. Get a bomb. And drop it here. Take them out, give them a middle finger as I fall down the hole. And get the blue mail. Good. Then we say fuck you to this puzzle. This infamous puzzle that's so bad that it was redesigned in the GBA version. Which I don't like. I don't like playing any version of this game that's redesigned that puzzle. Because I feel like we've all just decided, like, get the Cane of Samaria. It's easier. And whenever the puzzle's redesigned, it always negates the value of getting the Cane of Samaria early. Cold Stare. A single hit of Bombos will immediately destroy its ice shell, ending phase 1. There you go. Cold Stare. And we're off. Right up Death Mountain to go and deal with Turtle Rock. And now the hammer. I always hate these things. Never remember the order of this. Am I gonna get it as wrong as I can get it? No. Good. Alright, well, that's something.
Oh my God, I was wrong.
Right. Turtle Rock. Turtle Rock. Did you know that speedrunners will tend to forego the mirror shield? Because it causes slowdown in the game? It comes up quite a bit in the rando races. I think they might be gearing up for another rando tournament. Which is cool. I do enjoy watching A Link to the Past rando races. I should see if they did that Symphony of the Night rando race for this year yet. I think they usually hold those in like spring. I don't know. I only ever watched the archives. I should look into it though. I do enjoy the Symphony of the Night rando races. Like something was busted there. Yeah. And now we take the other one. The telepathic tile at the start of this dungeon says, like, hey, you should probably not come in here without magic potion. But, like, even if you do mess up a bit, this dungeon is actually kind of generous with magic refills. Oh, I'm being stupid. Didn't go and get the gold sword. I wonder if this is taking longer than normal. I got excited. Got excited, went straight to Turtle Rock and forgot to get the gold sword after the Ice Palace. Alright. Yeah. So, fun fact about the explosion. The super bomb lets out a bigger explosion than any other bomb in the game. It's programmed to do absolutely nothing except destroy the entrance to this room. Like, it won't hurt you, it won't hurt enemies, I don't think it'll blow up any other wall. Alright. Bye. Old man, give me full health. Ba-da-ba-bum. Oh, fucking stupid. I'm like, yeah, I'll exit the dungeon here and teleport back to the light world and leave a portal here that I can jump back into from the light world without having to go through the dungeon again. Forgetting that if I make another portal, then that will negate the portal I just set. Fucking stupid. Fucking move. Always the same with these fucking enemies. Ugh. Alright. Alright. Good thing I decided to do that there and not further down. See, there's the difference between the tempered sword and the golden sword. You can take those things out in 2 hits. Mirror shield. It's absurdly huge in this game. Alright. Cane of Samaria time. Right. It's not so bad once you, like, figure out that pathway. I remember as a kid having a lot of trouble with Trinex, the boss. And I wonder, like, looking back on it, I wonder if I didn't have the gold sword, maybe? Because with the gold sword, Trinex goes down, like, super fast. The blue tunic for me is always, like, sat in a place, like, a lot of middle equipment pieces, where, like, you have it for less time than, like, starting equipment or the ending equipment, and so I've never been as fond of it for that reason. There's no indication of main time. Okay, so start with fire to take out the ice head. Yeah, because I've always spent more time with the green tunic and the red tunic. I've always preferred those. Well, it's the thing of when I was younger, I would, like, finish the game and then just spend a lot of the time going around the world and doing random things. So it's a holdover of that. That's the last crystal. Peace to the country. Not to the kingdom, to the country of Hyrule. Alright, let's go. Let's go! This has always been one of my favourite final dungeons in the series. Largely because it's just like a gauntlet. Probably, like, at least somewhat because A Link to the Past is less puzzle-heavy than later games in the series. So there's not as much messing around in the final dungeon compared to later games in the series. If you know what you're doing, though, this is another dungeon like the, like Skull Woods, where you can skip most of it. You say the left side? I always ignore the right side. The real trick of the basement is just to make sure you end up with enough keys. Yeah, again with Rando, you've got to learn all of it. There are 21 item locations in the basement. And the big key can be in any one of them, so you gotta learn most of the basement. As far as doing it in vanilla goes, all you're really after is this now. It's all you need from the basement is the big key. And the big key's right here, so you just have to get to this spot. In Rando, like I said, there's 21 locations, there's 21 item checks in the basement, and it can be in any one of them. And now we go. I think coming out, you do want to have one key from the basement. Think. That might not be true though, I might be getting confused. One thing I don't think you really appreciate until you spend a bunch of time dealing with the skeletons that jump away from you is I'm pretty sure the reach on the gold sword is actually notably longer than the standard. Nope. And land mollusk. Nope. So I think this next room is the best location to use the Cane of Samaria as a weapon. If I do it right. Nope. What was that? And you can do it again here. And if you actually position it right, you can get 3 of them again in a single shot. And it's really neat. I didn't do it right. Apparently I'm an idiot. Nope. Yeah, I guess I was wrong. You don't actually need to exit the basement with a key. Last time I did this in my own time, I fucked this fight up so badly that I got knocked down to the bottom. Which, like, in the first fight with Moldorm, it happens. In the second fight, I feel like that's just embarrassing. And then I did terribly on the Argonim fight. Well, well, well. If it isn't Argoclim. When I do this fight right, it's so much easier than the first one. Because the 2 extra Argonims will always shoot the energy that you can reflect. And it's not difficult to hit him with all 3. I've just gotten worse at the fight over the years for some reason. They're doing a lot of overlapping in this run. Bitch. Get the hit, get the hit, get the hit. Bitch. I think, like, contrary to what you might think, this is actually one of the more dangerous Ganon fights of the series. Just because of, like, it's not that the attacks are difficult to avoid. If you get hit by them, they do a significant amount of damage. Fuck. I'm not gonna get this now. And I don't have any more magic, because I wasted it trying to get the glitch. Where's my magic heal, old man? These motherfuckers. Alright, fuck it. Go. Alright, let's go kill the fat bitch. I didn't realize, like, the fairies in this game do not like the great fairies in this game do not restore your magic. Okay, if I've done that right, the right torch will never go out now. And that's the torch glitch. It's what I was trying to do earlier. If the torches go out left, then right. If you relight the left torch before the right torch goes out, the right torch will not go out. And it makes dealing with that sequence so much easier. And that's a Link to the Past. A lot more slowdown in this playthrough than I remember. Link to the Past, still an absolute classic. I think, like, if you've never played a Zelda game before, this isn't a bad place to start. If you have played a Zelda game before that came out after this, it might be difficult to go back to, because there are puzzle elements here that I don't think really appear again. Like, the 2D games have very different puzzle ideas to the 3D games, in particular where keys are placed. And now, my second favourite Super Nintendo credits theme. Those chests have a different colour palette to like every other chest in the game, and it's odd. You realise, based on perspective, that island over there, where the heart piece is, has to be literally floating. And until A Link Between Worlds came out, this remained true. The Master Sword sleeping again forever in this timeline. Because after this, with the exception of Link Between Worlds, the Links in this timeline never used the Master Sword again. This Link goes on in the Oracle games and Link's Awakening to different lands. And Zelda 1 Link, who is also Zelda 2 Link, doesn't use the Master Sword, he gets the White Sword. Link to the Past is still a classic, it's still well worth playing. I'm very surprised this hasn't gotten a proper decomp and recomp. Like, at this point, 4 other Zeldas have. Like, Link's Awakening getting a decomp and recomp and like a full port. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. It takes place in the same Hyrule. Yeah, Link's Awakening getting a full decomp recomp port before this is kind of wild. Yeah, it takes place in the same Hyrule. There are references directly to the events of this game. No, I mean it takes place in exactly the same Hyrule, in the same way that Tears of the Kingdom takes place in the same Hyrule as Breath of the Wild. Welcome in, Bane. No. No, they're not. Well, it's tolerable because it's not pretentious. Really? That is surprising to me. I do genuinely really like the Link to the Past artwork as well. I was really happy with Link Between Worlds. They went back to the similar style. Though it looks more painted than drawn. I have a poster of Link Between Worlds up there. And it looks more painted than drawn. Which is kind of a shame, but I like that they went back to the similar style. This was one of my first games, like this game specifically. I think it's kind of surprising I never had any of the handheld Zeldas until Phantom Hourglass. Didn't play this until 2016, wow. I think, like, at least this is available now. While the Switch Online service is not my preferred way to do anything, at least it is available. But then, like, I think ever since the Wii Virtual Console came out, this game hasn't not been available. Good game. Childhood classic, and I do greatly enjoy it. I believe next up for the Legend of Sundays will be Ocarina of Time, where we'll be playing through the Ship of Harkinian port, which is great. It adds so many modern conveniences and quality of life touches, which is really nice. Bear in mind, I've been through Ocarina of Time standard so many times before, so they're nice additional features that were never required, but are really kind of cool to mess with. Stuff like speeding up some of the text, well, speeding up the text generally. Um, Camera control, 60 FPS is cool. Faster ladder climb, faster block pushing. Various cool things. That should be fun. Following that, I'm intending to do Majora's Mask through the 2 Harkinian port. I guess real quick, I mentioned to Teak yesterday the Link's Awakening decomp. I guess we'll show that off real quick. I don't really intend to play it. Because Link's Awakening is a game I didn't grow up with, and it's a game that I've never really gotten into. So there's a lot of settings here. Choice of fonts, fatigue. If you press Y, it'll tell you what all of them do as well. Yeah, I've tried to get into this and just not ever really enjoyed it. Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, I'm unsure. Mostly for the same reason as this, like, I've not really done them before. Honestly, I should. I really should. Multiple item buttons, I think, is one of the best things. You can increase it to 6 item slots. So you can still play it as it originally came. You can have this option set so that only the overworld is free scrolling like this, and dungeons are still screen by screen. You can set it to change the scale with the shoulder buttons. If you have the shoulder buttons set as extra item slots, the scale change goes onto the triggers instead. The scale to which you can zoom is kind of crazy. Like, I have it set to, I think, this. Usually 5 scale. Yeah. You can set it to auto and it'll choose whatever. Like, this is fine. But you can do this. And the game still plays. I think the most important thing anybody who's played Link's Awakening will agree upon is having more item buttons. So you can just have sword to your bottom button, shield to your right button, and then like your other buttons for whatever. I might play this, The Legend of Sundays. But it won't necessarily be in release order. If I do end up playing this, then it will basically guarantee Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, which again, I haven't beaten. The fun thing with Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, I remember years ago when Chance was streaming them, and I think it was Oracle of Seasons, he was stuck on the last boss. I do not know. I'll send you a link, Teak. This is 1.1 something, I think. Yeah, I remember Chance was stuck on the boss of the final dungeon, or the penultimate dungeon, in Oracle of Seasons for, like, multiple streams. What I really want to do before we go is get one of the power seeds. There are various mods you can get for this as well. I'm pretty sure some of them are graphics mods. So if you're not happy with this, like, you can change them. I think it's definitely a good alternative to the Switch remake, which has various issues, like its inconsistent frame rate. And also, I never liked the blurring effect. The blurring effect that the Switch version has on anything that isn't in the center of the screen. Really don't like it. I believe in this, you also... There we go. Piece of power. Now, that. You can turn that off. So that it doesn't play every time you get one of these. But yeah, if you want to play Link's Awakening, this is probably the best way to do it. This is the PC version I'm playing. I believe I do have it on my Android handhelds. If you decided you want to play it on one of those, if you have them. And I've mostly shown this off right now. Because I'm not going to give any guarantee that I'll actually stream Link's Awakening. So at the very least, you've seen this. There you go, no power-up music for that. Which I think will be one of the big improvements people are happy about. Like I say, if you want to preserve the original game experience, you can scale it down to just the one screen and move through it like that. Yeah. These recomps have become, like, such a fascinating thing. And I think they are nothing but beneficial for people who want to play these games. In a lot of cases, they've become, like, the better experience than, say, official releases. But that's it. That's going to do it for us today. I want to thank everybody for joining the stream. I always really appreciate the support. Big special thank you to everybody in chat. Chat is always the best part of the stream. Legend of Sundays will probably continue with Ocarina of Time. We'll be doing the Ship of Arcinian recomp. I think the only one that's up in the air at the minute is like what version of Wind Waker we'll be doing. Because I can emulate the GameCube version easily, and we didn't actually play through all of that back when I originally streamed it. But I could also try. I haven't tried streaming from Cemu before, the Wii U emulator. And Wind Waker HD would probably be a good way of testing that. We'll see. And then some of the handheld stuff as well. Probably the Oracle games, Minish Cap. If I feel like it, the GBA version of A Link to the Past. I do want to do A Link Between Worlds. I'd like to do Twilight Prince, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks. But yeah, who do we have today? Star, Clem, Teak, Flame, and Bane. Thank you so much for joining me, Keep Company. Chat is always the best part of the stream. The 7 years mecha-chrono celebration goes on with more Dark Souls 3. Haven't decided what the next daylight shooting time will be. I'll probably decide like 5 minutes before I start the next daylight shooting time. And the Legend of Sundays continues with Ocarina of Time. But with that, there's not really anything else to say. Let's have a sound alert.
Psycho Mantis.
And with that, thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic time of day, and take care. We'll catch you next time, guys. Bye.